really felt as if like logical reasoning has to be paramount when you're going to question somebody about being on the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, and you only have 30 minutes as a senator. We have given you they charge you with the goal of vetting these people, right? So the White House is supposed to do it, they're supposed to do it. Now it's your job to do it. As my senator from Texas, you're charged with this goal to answer the questions that I have, and you spent your time on BS instead of actually vetting her on her actual thinking. Like, start talking to me about her judicial process. How does she come to her ideals? If you want to ask a question about the Second Amendment, do that, because that's something that actually matters. You want to ask questions about how you feel about gay marriage, do that as a question that actually matters. Because John Cornyn did that. Did I like what John Cornyn had to ask her? Did I agree with John Cornyn's thought process on gay marriage? And just, he was religious liberties next to providing service to people who are LGBTQ, right? Do I agree with his how he thinks about that? No, I don't. But is it a question you should ask? Yes, because she's going to be on the court and they're going to continue to decide cases about that. But Ted Cruz decided to go to left field and wants to spend the time talking about CRT, and I don't see a CRT case coming down the pipe for the Supreme Court anytime soon.
Here's my interpretation, really briefly. I think it's, and which is sad and cynical, but I think it's true, political theater. So I don't believe that they actually think this is helpful. More concerned with one, being reelected, but two, putting on this show for their constituents and those who give them money under the table or in more official, legitimate ways. It truly doesn't matter. Where if I say CRT and I fight this black woman on CRT, and she was guaranteed to be a black woman by Joe Biden, and I made us think about it beforehand, and I'm gonna make us think about it afterward. Everybody's gonna Turning Point USA, the whole Trump camp, the Heritage Foundation, all the conservative think tanks, everybody, Fox News is rocking with me. I'm towing the party line, not even the party line, the Trump line, the extreme radical alt-right line. I'm their guy if I do this. Just using this, very important Supreme Court hearing for their own political gain. Should I be surprised? No. It's sad to see.
All right, welcome back to Relatively Conscious. My name is Antonious Brown.
Ervin Bryant.
Shout out to DJ for making our beat.
At DW Made That on social media.
Follow on social media.
That's at Kind of Woke on Instagram and Twitter. Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Go ahead and follow, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know what you think about this confirmation hearing for Ketanji Brown-Jackson. Hopefully soon to be Justice Brown-Jackson.
Yes. So today is day 2 of confirmation hearing. Day 1 was opening statements. Everybody on the committee is just boring. Day 2 is when it gets heated. So we're talking about day 2. Day 3 is going to be character witnesses, and then they're looking to do a vote before Easter, by Easter, to get her confirmed, basically. But she won't sit until the new session starts after June. So in June, the session ends, they release all their decisions, and then there's a new session starts. I want to say it's in October, but that feels wrong. But anyway, the new session starts. But I want to go over some of the points they raised up, some issues they talked about with her, because about 4 areas they really try to pick a bone with her. But first thing, what was your general overview of what the Republicans' play was to attack her?
So I'm gonna give what they're saying it is, and I'm gonna give what I'm reading.
Yeah,
they're saying this is, which is either way. I don't think there's a charitable way to read this. At its worst, some Republicans on the committee just asked regular questions, in my opinion. Shout out Chuck Grassley. I heard most of his questions. And it was just, I got to ask questions of the new person who wants to be on Supreme Court. You got to test him, got to interview him. It is what it is. You may not love what he did, but it was run of the mill, part of the job. And it was, what's the word I'm looking for? Civil.
Yes.
Professional. Then you got, the Ted Cruz and the Josh Hawleys, which we'll get to later in depth, who were asking more wild, off the beaten path questions, really specific, really not pertaining to how she's going to perform in her job as a Supreme Court justice, and harping on single issues and just like really trying to catch her, saying something stupid. Of course, being who she is, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And so they would claim that, oh, this is what they did to our guys. This is what they did to Kavanaugh. This is what they did to Amy Coney Barrett. They just hounded them on these issues that basically muckraking and airing their dirty laundry in front of everybody. So if this is what we do as professionals in this setting, if the Democrats can do it, why can't I do it? Obviously, it's childish. if they can do it, why can't I do it? If you had a problem with it then, you should have a problem with it now, right? If it wasn't helpful then, it's not helpful now. Be the bigger man. These are our representatives. I shouldn't have to say this.
Yeah.
But no, that's their argument. Here's my interpretation, really briefly. I think it's, and which is sad and cynical, but I think it's true, political theater. So I don't believe that they actually think this is helpful. I think they're well aware of what I just said, right? Like they don't, they just don't care. And they're more concerned with one, being reelected, but two, putting on the show for their constituents and those who give them money under the table or in more, official, legitimate ways. It truly doesn't matter. Where if I say CRT and I fight this black woman on CRT, and she was guaranteed to be a black woman by Joe Biden, and I made us think about it beforehand, and I'm gonna make us think about it afterward. Everybody's gonna Turning Point USA, the whole Trump camp, the Heritage Foundation, all the conservative think tanks, everybody, Fox News is rocking with me. I'm towing the party line, not even the party line, the Trump line, the extreme radical alt-right line. I'm their guy if I do this. Just using this, very important Supreme Court hearing for their own political gain. Should I be surprised? No. But I am it's sad to see.
Yeah, it's also something I would say the Democrats did also. Amy Coney Barrett was for a hearing in for Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. I think particularly Cory Booker used those times to really ham it up and try to really make a scene for political run aspirations at the time. So you remember Kavanaugh was right during the midterms, and it's right when people were starting to declare themselves for president. But I saw he used one of his Kavanaugh hearing questions, some of his campaign stuff. So to me, it feels like it's political theater, as you say. Also, great campaign footage. When Josh Hawley decides to run, when Ted Cruz decides to run again, why I don't know. Is perfect. Basically, let me show myself talking about anti-racist babies. People are gonna love this. But anyway, it's going to be more of that because she's bulletproof. Basically,
yes, she's handling it.
Yeah, and her record is not very much what wants to be talked about. Though there's some things we can get into that they try to bring up, but she swatted most of that away. But with it being a black woman, I think, and it being, not looking very good to be grilling her, it gives kind of bad dynamics for them.
Yeah, for all these old white guys to be drilling the first black woman to be sitting in the seat.
Yeah, they were trying to find something to grasp onto, and I felt like they were really grasping at straws here. They didn't find any concrete to really get at, and so therefore it felt way more frivolous than normal. My take on it, but also I will say this: Amy Coney Barrett's hearing, the Democrats' questionings also felt a little frivolous because she wouldn't say anything about how she felt about abortion or how she felt about other race issues, because she kept it very much, I'm Marshawn Lynch, I'm here so I won't get fined answers, as they all do, as there's
that's the game.
Even the Democrats felt like they were coming off kind of frivolous, trying to grasp at straws, because they brought up her being on a school board. They brought up her religion.
Is this in order of the?
No, it's not.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get to that. But so they brought that up, and so therefore that was some of the issues that they felt they were grasping at straws in her hearing, and I see the same thing happen again in this hearing because her confirmation is all but decided, and so therefore there's nothing really you can do to stop it. So you do feel like you look kind of like an idiot trying to slow down this train that's headed toward her being on the Supreme Court. And so no matter what Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz did, I didn't kind of look stupid anyway because we don't like him. Most of us don't. And Grassley,
as long as he's not shaving, he's gonna look stupid.
Yeah, Grassley just I felt did a better job. He's an old guy. He's seen hundreds of these, not hundreds, but at least 7, 5 or 6. I want to say
that's a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. So he's seen enough to where it's another Tuesday for him. So let's move on to the areas that they attacked her on. First being CRT. Let's set up the whole background basically. Ted Cruz loves these little poster boards he has. I don't know if he thinks it makes him look better. If he thinks it makes him look like, I guess he loves
patriot.
Yeah, I guess he loved litigation. When he was the Solicitor General for the state of Texas, he loved doing litigation. I feel like he's a real type of guy in the courtroom doing a bunch of dumb stuff. Then they bring out all the boards for the jury. Let me show the video several times. All that, But anyway, he brought up the books that there was for the school that she's on the board of, and some of them are by Ibram X. Kendi, who was the author of Anti-Racism. That in the book.
Yeah, How to Be Anti-Racist, I believe is the title.
Yeah, How to Be Anti-Racist. A book that I have so many bones to pick, but we don't have the time. Yeah. But anyway, he started reading from some of the experts of the books.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
Yes.
Go. Yeah, so you rolling it out, but I'm gonna give a detail because I was there. I wasn't there, but I was listening to it on the radio during my lunch break, and I was filming. Okay, Ted Cruz. He has his poster child that he's CRT is his scapegoat, if you will. Yes. Okay. Boom. Yeah, I'm gonna attack this scapegoat, beat this horse. It's already dead. Keep on beating it. Is it even a horse? No, it's the wrong animal, but I've got people thinking it's a horse, and I'm just bludgeon this body until there's nothing left. Okay. He starts off with a little red herring action. Okay. What's up, Ketanji? You remember when we were Harvard Law Review together? Oh, yeah. What's up? We were always cordial, right? Yeah. And I'm thinking,
what does that mean? What does that mean? We're always cordial. I know people at law school who I'm cordial with. I don't know those people.
Give me something. This is my man's. It's of course. Ketanji knows this man. Of course, nobody likes Ted Cruz. Let's just lay it out. We don't like him on his voting record and his behavior as a representative of our state. But nobody else in Congress likes this man.
I share the room with that man. His aura. No, I don't like it. I don't like his aura at all.
Yeah. So everything within and without this man. It's not right. So people who know him personally. We are more onlookers. Yeah. Tony looked on closer than I did. But people who know him personally, especially those once they're done, in Washington, they write the expose, they write the tell-all. And they just be like, man, of all the people, I had to work with Ted Cruz. He was the absolute worst. So Ketanji knows he's a jerk. We don't know that they have this relationship though. So he's like, oh, we were cool. Yeah, we were. Of course, she's not in a position to be like, I never liked you. You were a jerk the whole time. She's not in a position to tell the truth. So she's just like, yeah, it was always polite. We was polite. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Turning your, your submission to the law review, and it's gonna get published. Blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe Ted is gonna act like an adult today.
Oh, how wrong you were, Ervin. How wrong you were.
He started not on, and he kind of smooth. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of turned the water up real slow like. And I know he cooked some people. If I was a frog in that pot, I would have hopped out. But I know he cooked some people. He started off with, okay, Martin Luther King. I have a dream speech. Annoying as a Republican, as a white. For all intents and purposes, he's a white man. Yeah. As a white man, bringing up that speech, but okay. And he said, you've quoted this portion of the speech, content of the character. We vibe it. And she was like, of course, we vibe it. Martin Luther King, of course. And he was like, okay, here's the problem, though. One time you were speaking on MLK and the civil rights movement, and you brought up Nicole Hannah-Jones. I said, there you go. Not in the 1619 Project and revisionist history. And he start laying it out. And it's just gradually, I'm making it, I'm condensing it.
Yeah.
He's just laying it on. Because if it's first he mentioned Nicole Hannah-Jones, you're already, if you know the name, pump the brakes. 1619 Project, pump a little more. Whoa, hey, what's going on? Put it in reverse, revisionist history. The founding fathers were racist and America should be condemned. Boom. And of course, he's going far beyond what Nicole Hannah-Jones even herself would say. And of course, Ketanji Brown-Jackson was not giving a book review when she gave this speech. She just referenced her as an impactful Black woman. Yeah, because she is. She won a Pulitzer Prize. The woman's important. But of course, it's Ted Cruz. And so we finally arrived at the. I know we've taken a long time, but Ted Cruz took far longer. I'm trying to tell you. Yes. he was cooking it. And he said, okay, we've squashed it. Of course, she dodged the bullets out of it. She's Neo in the Matrix. Yes. Ketanji Brown is not to be played with.
She's the one.
She is the one, bro. This man said, okay, so I'm glad we squashed that. What you know about CRT though? And I love it. Ketanji Brown said, I didn't study that. I know about the discipline. I know about it. I know, we went to school. Wasn't my thing. And he like, okay. What about reverse racism and hating the whites? I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing. I kind of tell you nothing. And then it got serious when he brought up where you started off at the school board.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, you work at a school board at this private school where they teach anti-racism. Okay. A social justice framework.
There you go.
Wherein children are trained to confess their racial sins when they have prejudged someone, where they're taught to deconstruct their whiteness or their Blackness, but less so.
Yeah.
And address the racial problems in society, which if you're a real one, that doesn't sound that crazy. I mean, you may not exactly like, the method, but I mean, that's not a bad idea. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
And once he got that, of course he admits to that because it's true. And once he got that out, it was off to the races. You're a whole reverse racist, radical, BLM, leftist, socialist, communist. I mean, it never stops.
Yeah. One thing he said was that the what's called the critical race theory law professors are Marxists. And I was like, she didn't fight him on that, but it's
not worth it.
But I was like, huh? All of them? You mean every single last one of them are Marxists? I know Black people. I know very few of them are Marxists.
Well, not all these scholars are Black. And there is the arguments he's making, which is, I hate the fact that they keep dragging all this like super high-minded academic ivory tower stuff into the public sphere. That's not where it belongs. Because, his argument has merit, like critical theory and I don't even want to get into like the Frankfurt School and all this other stuff. There's Marx. There's Marx in the mix. Marx is in the room. Yeah. Okay. To put it plainly. But to say that Ketanji, by virtue of teaching, by virtue of endorsing a teaching for children that is 100% for children, that is loosely related to critical theory, which is related to Marxism. You see how 6 degrees of separation, you already up into 7 and 8 at this point. And he's trying to say, so basically, you're a Marxist, you're a communist.
But even then, he broke the first link with it because the school board doesn't do a curriculum. So he's on a school board, they don't do a curriculum. They were like dedicating buildings and like how much money we're going to spend on stuff. And so he broke that first link because I know that because he said in his hearing for Emiko and Barrett that as being on the school board, you don't decide policy. So if he said that then how can you make the assumption now? Your own logic doesn't work, Ted Cruz, man of logic, Harvard law guy, Harvard Law Review. Got that beard on your face, supposed to be all smart and high thinking. You can't make a basic assumption that's necessary to pass the LSAT. Let me see your LSAT score, please. because you can't make a basic assumption that that's said to do the LSAT. But anyway, this man brings up the worst in me. I don't want to do this. I'm a Christian man, but I want to cuss this man out. But anyway, he put up one of the things he put up the exhibits was a excerpt from a book that Kendi wrote called Anti-Racist Baby. Is that what it's called, basically?
Yeah. I mean, I don't, we're fully endorsing Ketanji Brown-Jackson, not so much Ibram X. Kendi.
Oh, I'm gonna go further than you. Kendi, no. I can't with this guy. I can't. Some things you be saying, I can't. I'm good on it. Is because this whole like it's one thing or the other. Anti-racists are racist. An anti-racist baby. Ervin, I have a baby. She does not know what racism is. If you feed her,
that's why you got to teach them. That's what the class is for.
If you feed her, she'll come to you, white, black, or whatever. It doesn't matter. She doesn't like really care at all. Anyway, side note, because I get mad when other black people have to answer for other crazy black people, and sometimes I want to be like, look, all kinfolk and kinfolk, and also he was doing his thing, and she's a Supreme Court justice. What does his book have to do with her being a Supreme Court justice at all? None of it. But I think he got to see. What I want to bring up though is him getting into CRT was a trap Democrats set up for themselves. I don't know why they did this back in the Amy Coney Barrett hearing. Not that they're supposed to have 2020 vision, have supposed to see into the future and know that she's going to be on the school board. But if we can clearly see here the link can't be made, how come Democrats are supposed to be the better of the two parties or the better of the two parties that are doing these things? Couldn't see there that there was a link wasn't made clearly between Amy Coney Barrett being on a school board and the anti-LGBTQ policies that they had. I know we have an issue with anti-LGBTQ policies. I know it's something we should fight for, but it looks bad when both of them cannot make a link, and we're harping on what he did to KBJ. KBJ is her nickname she goes by. Ketanji Brown-Jackson go by KBJ.
That works.
Like Dr. Ruth Simmons go by Ruth, who I would never call her Ruth to her face.
Yeah, never. Yeah. That's not gonna happen.
But yeah, Amy Coney Barrett also, if both of these can make the links, why did Democrats open up that hole? Because Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley are going to jump into an anti-logical hole if you open up for them. Thank you.
Okay. I think you're right. First, I think I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay, they're equally. I think both of the issues are equally not related to how the person will perform their job, but I think the threat is more real on one, and that sounds like super like, oh well, you're the Democrat leaning guy. You're gonna say that you're the liberal guy. You're gonna say that. Kind of true, but let's analyze. Let's look at it for real. Okay, anti-LGBT legislation. Not only is it being implemented in our most conservative states, like no joke to this day, right now, we're investigating families, we're banning people from sports, bathrooms, etc. Don't say gay bill. Like it's real life happening right now. CRT in the schools. That school that she described, a private school, right? So private schools do whatever they want, be it religious, sociological, economic, whatever. Kids get brainwashed in all kinds of different ways. It's a tragedy. Education is hard. But there's a huge difference between training kids to be anti-racist and training kids to potentially, and I'm not with the specifics on either one of these. Yeah. But I mean, anti-racism I am familiar with. And I've seen some particularly dangerous Christian dogma as well. I'm not sure what Amy Coney Barrett's school is doing, but training people and investing in and sitting on a board of a school that does this, even if it's not her decision, you are, approving of what the school does. You're a representative of this organization when you're on the board. It's kind of tough to allow someone to sit on this bench that is supposed to lead and be ahead of the curve, the social curve of where our society is when we're looking at civil rights, black, white, man, woman, and in this case, LGBTQ or straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
She seems to be markedly in the opposite direction of that trend, as we talked about this before on the show.
Yeah.
And this is evidence of that. Evidence of that would be hard to find. So the thing is, if we can interrogate this threat to civil rights in one way or another, hey, we're trying to find a way. Was it effective? No. Was it a waste of time? Absolutely. Was the connection weak between her and this homophobia? Yes, it was. And does it necessarily impact her decisions? Not entirely. I see the intent, and I respect it a shred. When you go to the Republican side, the CRT threat from jump, just the mention of it, it's not real. And we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like Ketanji Brown-Jackson said when he started the line of questioning. For all she knows, and for all anybody who's real knows, critical race theory, and even Mike Kendi, by the way, anti-racism is not critical race theory. They're always conflated by conservatives and whatnot. And there's similarities. He's familiar with critical race theory, et cetera. But anti-racist baby isn't a work of CRT because that's insane. You can't teach it to children. It doesn't work.
Well, of course, the argument is by Republicans that CRT means something bigger than what CRT is.
I'm saying. So it's just a lie off rip. And so I get what you're saying comparing Amy Coney Barrett and KBJ. It's just KBJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a rapper who goes by that name? And so I was like confused. But you're just not. It's apples to pears. It's not apples to oranges. It's apples to pears. They're related, but they're not the same.
Yeah. I just I had an issue with it for where the Democrats are supposed to be doing, because it felt very much to me to be. I don't know. I don't know. As you get into, I'm sorry if I say this correctly. I'm about to say as you get into law school, and that sounds pretentious as fuck. But
I mean, say it. You got the education. You know better.
I don't know. As you get into law school, you talk about the law and what you do as a lawyer. And then a lot of things you start saying it depends a lot more in life. People are asking about law. You're like, I don't know, bro. It depends. Like, I need more specifics for this, right? But I really felt as if logical reasoning has to be paramount when you're going to question somebody about being on the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. And you only have 30 minutes as a senator. We have given you we have charged you with the goal of vetting these people, right? So the White House is supposed to do it. They're supposed to do it. Now it's your job to do it. As my senator from Texas, you're charged with this goal to answer the questions that I have, and you spent your time on BS instead of actually vetting her on her actual thinking. Like, start talking to me about her judicial process. How does she come to her ideals? If you want to ask a question about the Second Amendment, do that, because that's something that actually matters. You want to ask the questions about how you feel about gay marriage, do that as a question that actually matters. Because John Cornyn did that. Did I like what John Cornyn had to ask her? Did I agree with John Cornyn's thought process on gay marriage and just people's religious liberties next to providing service to people who are LGBTQ, right? Do I agree with how he thinks about that? No, I don't. But is it a question you should ask? Yes, because she's going to be on the court and they're going to continue to decide cases about that. But Ted Cruz is not going to left field and wants to spend the time talking about CRT, and I don't see a CRT case coming down the pipe to the Supreme Court anytime soon. The closest thing I can see is maybe a school freedom question, or whether or not you can leave a school for CRT, or can you actually be fired for that? But I don't even know if that's going to really be a question for the court. And so, yeah, that's my problem that I had. This is going to end part one of us talking about the confirmation hearing. Yeah, so coming back to part two, talk about her sentencing, because those questions got deep. The sentencing questions and about the CP cases. My name is Antonious Brown.
Ervin Bryant.
Peace.
Do it to him, G.